Hello and welcome to my show, The Thriving Woman. I am your host, Carmel Austin.
I can't believe I'm counting down the minutes till it's Tuesday. Another day back on.
I will be sharing keys to help you form healthy hearts and boundaries. I'll see you in the show.
My feet, I'm fighting every minute till the weekend.
Hello and welcome to a new season of The Thriving Woman. I'm so excited that we're coming back with so much exciting things that have been happening over the last few months of this year in 2023. And you might know that I have interviewed my dear friend Stephanie before, but now I am introducing her as my beautiful new partner. We have partnered together to produce books, to share our stories, and to move forward. So I'll still be doing my shows, The Thriving Woman, but Stephanie is my dear friend, and I would like to introduce her to the stage again as my lovely right arm who has just been there with me every step of the way as we are producing our next book, The Artist Haven. So welcome, Stephanie, to my show.
Thank you so much for having me back and that wonderful welcome and that wonderful introduction of being your business partner now, your right hand. I love it. I am so excited to partner with you and to just go on this journey with you. And usually you'd say like the sky's the limit, but I don't even think the sky's the limit. I think like we're beyond the sky. I don't think we have a limit between like your brain and my brain and like where our creativity is going to take us. So thank you. I'm so excited to be here on the show and also be here as your right hand.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. And you know, folks, Stephanie has been there with me. She has heard my woes. She has been there encouraging me with my creativity. I've been able to rely on her with everything that I have been doing with this book. And I'm just so grateful to God to have Stephanie as my business partner now and with us moving forward with Carmel Austin Publishing. So you may see with my logo, I still have my Carmel's Garden logo, but under that we have Carmel Austin Publishing. And Stephanie has just been so supportive with me with everything that we're doing. And we're so excited because the Artist Haven is well on its way to being published and up on Kindle. We're doing all the advertising now and we're asking people to sign up for our Kindle book. We've got it at a special price. We have our beautiful waitlist that is out there and we're asking people to join the waitlist to get the book at that special price because I want all my authors to go to #1 International Bestselling Author. For myself personally, I'm 2 times International Bestselling Author. And hey, let's go 3. But you know, that's not what I'm about. I'm about lifting up everybody into the platform that God has given me and being able to see us all collaborate together and shine in the wonderful gifts that we are given. So this season in The Thriving Woman, I will be interviewing all of my authors to start with. And it's so exciting. I have 12, maybe 13 authors. We've got one who's just looking at submitting her chapter as well. And, you know, Stephanie has just been there with me. She is an amazing editor. She has got everybody's chapters and she has read through them. She has given amazing feedback. And I'm just so honored to have her not only as my business partner, but she's going to be stepping up as my editor as well. And we're going to be working together making this book as well as all the other books that we have that are in my heart and in our future together. And we're just going to fly high, like Stephanie said. She doesn't even know it's even higher than the sky.
I know.
So, Stephanie, I would just like to ask you to share with our audience a little bit about your experience about working with me, as well as what you have found, how you have grown personally with the things that you've done with our book, The Artist Haven.
Absolutely. So I approached you, as you know, for the book, The Artist Haven, pretty quickly after you kind of put the wanted co-authors out there. For me, it was a connection of, yes, I want to elevate creatives. Yes, I want to elevate artists, and I want to encourage them and inspire, and I want to get my message out. So when I saw what you had put, it was like a no-brainer. It was just something that I absolutely needed to do, and I felt that immediately. So, and upon meeting you and speaking with you and talking with you, which I think is absolutely wonderful, that before you take co-authors on, that you meet with them and you talk to them and you kind of, like, number one, help them feel comfortable. I think helping them feel comfortable is great. Helping you feel like, yes, I'm, internationally bestseller 2 times and like everything else you are, but like I'm also a real person, and and like here I am, like I'm authentic and I'm genuine, and it's very relatable and very authentic. So one thing, like upon starting to join the Artist Haven, starting to talk to you, it was very apparent that like you're a real person and you're authentic, and like this was like something that God had placed inside your heart, a vision he had given you. And it really was just, I give you this vision, but you are not to go at it alone. I want you to have other people, other co-authors, other editors, now business partner. It's like definitely this whole idea of just building that community and building that sharing. And so working this whole process through the Artist Haven, from getting ideas out there and what the chapters are going to be about, and then reading people's stories, like you have been an integral part and very hands-on of the whole process. And I think that's so important because it shows how much you care. It shows the dedication you have. It shows the willingness to kind of put aside everything else that you have going on and like just put your heart and soul into this book, because that's what God's calling you to do. It's kind of like, hey, I know you have this, and this, but I will take care of that for you. Like this is the direct thing in front of you. And I think I don't know if I shared this verse with you before, but I really feel like it's the verse in Hebrews where it says, let me throw off the sin that so easily entangles. And for me, I feel like, let me throw off everything else that is not this book, everything else that is not about building the vision and crafting and creating the message. And I think that kind of inspiration that you've had, and that belief that you've had in your authors as well, of like, you can do it, you can write, because you've had to push some people, and I've had to push some people to be like, I think you can give a little more, but there is breakthrough on the other side. And like, we're just so privileged to be able to like sit back and just like watch God like work through people's willingness to show up. And I think you have just been kind of like the major catalyst of that. So that in a nutshell has been my experience so far with working as, an editor, as the Artist Haven, and also just as a co-author too. It's just been a very good experience. Everyone is included. Everyone is, valued. And I think that sometimes it doesn't always happen in a co-author book. It's very like here and here, but not with Carmel Austin. Mm-mm.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. That's so lovely of you to say that, because, that's my heart. I grew up where I was not included in certain groups and places, and I don't like that. I like that everybody's included, that all my authors, what they present to me, there's value. I may not always do what they offer or ask, but I always give them a voice, and that's what it's about, giving them a platform and the voice. And, you know, I know that God has given me this platform, and he's the one lifting me up, and I want to lift everybody else up. I want everyone to know that they're valued, they're unique, that our creativity is God-given, and that, you know, it's not easy working with 15 or more different creative people at one time, because we all have different ideas and we all have different ways to present. And when you're the leader and you have that vision and the way you want your book to set up and all of those things, you know, you've got the humble ones who aren't quite sure and they ask me, and the others who speak up, and you've got to go, well, that's not quite the way that it's going to work out. And then I'm learning as I'm going along, because, you know, this is my first visionary book as well. But I just feel like too, you know, I shared with you, Stephanie, I had that dream a couple of months ago where I woke up and there was a baby growing inside of me. Well, hey folks, I've got 12 or 13 of them. And, you know, like, that's my children in heaven. You know, I had multiple babies when my husband and I did IVF, and they're growing up in heaven together, smiling down on me. And, you know, and I had beautiful parents who are now in heaven, and they're smiling down on me and encouraging me from that great cloud of witnesses. I have my husband who forever supports everything I want to do. And, you know, I think I probably auditioned or, you know, spoke to 25 or more people in this process. And I've got people who are wanting to be in our sequel book, you know, as well. So, you know, there's so many plans and ideas. This week I got offered to be a top contributor to a magazine as well, and they're offering to put my picture on the front page and have all our authors be in the book. And and before I do any of that, I had to speak to Stephanie about it. I had to talk to her and ask her, and she's just got so many ideas about magazines and intuition about where to go. And, you know, Stephanie's more the age of my daughter, and her children are like my grandchildren age, but how blessed am I to have this amazing young woman who's full of life. And when you read her story, oh my goodness, she just shares from her heart. I remember she was going to do one thing and then it changed, and what she has produced with her chapter, well, I tell them the black crayon, is just amazing. And how amazing it is for me that I've done extra coaching with some of my authors who took up my gold package, and I've helped them to write their stories and rewrite their stories. And then Stephanie has stepped in and helped word count and all those things. And so, you know, here we are again, and we're a team working together. I've been telling her for months she's my right arm, and, you know, and how amazing it is that we're business partners together with Carmel Austin Publishing. I still have Carmel's Garden and all the dreams and the things that I want to do as well. But how amazing that I have Stephanie. She's just given 110% or more to what we're doing, and she's so committed to the Artist Haven, and we're so committed to seeing creatives and what they can do and how they can shine and the things that we want to see come out in their lives. So, you know, folks, this is just the beginning. You know, we've got podcast shows, TV shows, we've got books, we've got so much that I want to see birthed, and how blessed am I to have Stephanie doing that. And Stephanie, share with your audience, my audience, about with you being a young mum and how, you share a little bit about that in your story. Do you want to give a little bit of a snippet to our audience before it comes out about what you share and what you want to champion your children with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a young mom. My birthday's the end of the month, but I am a mom of 3 young children. That's for sure. They are 5 and 3 and 9 months. Crazy. I know. You remember when she was just a little itty bitty and now she's 9 months old. I know. Time flies. And being a mom and now being a mom of children, specifically my 3-year-old and 5-year-old that have personalities, right? Like you're seeing their personalities shine through. You're seeing what they like to do, their hobbies, their interests, their passions, what lights them up. And they're also able to see me. They're also able to see, I might get emotional. They're also able to see me do what I like to do. And that's create. So that's being creative in any way that could look like painting, that looks like journaling, that looks like coloring, that looks like, figuring things out, that looks like haphazardly trying to decorate my mantle, for seasons. But 3 young kids, it doesn't always happen, but like they get to see that as a part of me. And my chapter talks a little bit about, your children are always watching you, and just to like foster and encourage and nurture that creative spirit, that adventurous spirit, and that curiosity. And it is so great. I had this random idea that I wanted to start kind of doodling at night. Like instead of scrolling on my phone, instead of watching something like mindless, like I got myself these little markers and I got a tiny little sketchbook. So last night was the first night I did. Last night I just sat in my bed and like before I went to bed, that was kind of my unwind time. Well, I, for some reason, wanted to show my daughter this morning, my 5-year-old daughter this morning, the little picture that I doodled. And she went to me and she grabbed her markers and her doodle pad and she imitated that doodle. And that, honestly, in a nutshell, is like what my story is about. It's encouraging and it's fostering and it's nurturing that creativity, and watching your children and watching other people see that in you and start to have that creative spark ignited.
Oh, that is so beautiful, and how special that is. I know, Stephanie's in America, I'm in Australia. It's very late for her now and it's the middle of the day for me. And Stephanie, we get online and I chat, and they go, how are you? What's happening in your life? And she'll give me little snippets about what's happening with the children and where they're at. And, and lately it's like, she's waking up and I'm going to sleep and we're talking and I'm, opposite sides of the world, but it's just the friendship that has grown between us. And I have another friend who had said that. She worked me out. I chat, and then I say, how are you? And Sue actually was my friend who took me up to Tony Robbins, and started me on this journey. And then after that, we went to a writing seminar as well, and we both ventured up there together. And, that's then 10 years ago that I really, not quite 10 years ago that I did that with her, but I really, realized back then that I want to write books and I want to share people's stories. And I know, hey folks, my own book, my biography, my heritage book, my kids' books. I've got a child's book coming out for littlies, for all the different age groups as well. I wrote this amazing story 10 years ago. And, all of it's going to be out there soon, but it's just the right time, the right process. And, the Artist Haven has been something that I have committed my whole heart to. And yes, it's taking up a lot of time, but I'm grateful that I have an amazing husband who goes to work and supports me, but I still work outside of the house to help support what I'm doing as well. So I'm just watching us grow, her beautiful babies, Stephanie's babies are growing, and I feel like, my dreams are growing, and coming alive. And then I got to tell myself, you need to sleep and you need to eat well and you need to exercise and you need to do all those things as well, because I can get so, caught up doing all that too. But we all have lives and we all have, to have that healthy balance as a wholeness coach. I want to encourage women and families. And hey, we've got Tim, who's an amazing artist, who's part of our book, and he's just been so amazing. And to hear his story and to have his beautiful artwork that's going to be published in our book, and just even, Stephanie, when Stephanie's offered to do a bit of a link chapter, so the whole book will be linked together. And we started to talk about where the chapters are going to be placed. And I started to write who and how which chapter lined up to the other, because Stephanie wanted to do these beautiful link pages and link paragraphs. And I realized that the whole book just flows. It's just so ordained. It's just so, like we just pull all that inspiration out of the heavens and it's there for all of us. But, and when I was telling people about my becoming #2 international best-selling author with my Dear Superwoman book, my girlfriend had said to me, "You're like Superwoman." And I thought, actually, I have a book coming out that came out this March, and I haven't even had time to get one printed copy, but I do know there's a beautiful hardcover that is coming in the mail from my dear friend Natasha that I joined with her. And folks, if you haven't seen it, we're going in magazines, and this is what I'm doing as well with our book. I want to be in magazines. I want interviews. I want my authors to feel valued. I want them, to have that title as #1 international best-selling authors. I want their names to be with me on Amazon. I want them to get all the benefits of all the hard work that I've been putting in for the last few years, all the dreams in my heart, to be able to share my vision and my dreams, and to just see that so many people want to get on board with me. I feel so incredibly blessed to be doing that, and to know that, God had all this planned for me. And for years I'd go, but what about me, God? What about me? What about my dreams? If you haven't read my book, Just Say No, you can go on to carmelsgarden.com and you can order it in the ebook. If you're here in Australia, I can send you a signed copy, or from overseas, you can order it through Lulu anywhere in the world. And that talks about a very true story about my heart and my disappointments and the start of it. And then with the Artist Haven, it was more, I'm an artist. I'm an artist, Stan, and I'm very creative. And what I've learned through this process is that my heart is to encourage creatives. My heart is to uplift creatives, and I love working with creatives. And so I'm really finding my niche, and it's not just for females. Yes, being a wholeness coach, I want to see women uplifted and encourage them, and I've just had that privilege doing that with my authors and the women that I've been coaching. And I was doing that for at least 30 years before, we became international. But how blessed am I to have Stephanie standing beside me as not only a co-author, as my publisher, being part of my publishing team, as doing a lot of the editing of the book and helping it all flow. She just has such amazing ideas. Please tell me, Stephanie, where did you get that idea about linking the chapters together?
So I'm kind of the person who always realizes that I am teachable and I am coachable, and I'm always wanting to learn and absorb and get information. And I was on a challenge, a free challenge, and they were talking about like writing and encouragement in your writing and getting consistent in your writing and all of that stuff, all the stuff that I teach my clients as well. But, sometimes you just want to see like if there's any old like tips and tricks someone else might be doing that you're not, that you haven't caught on to. And at some point, someone asked about a co-author book and like the transitions for co-author books. And The person who was speaking recommended that it would be a good idea to have even these different chapters of the book flow together. And I just thought that was just so beautiful. I thought that that was such a good idea because it's so unique to the other co-author books that are out there. I've been a co-author in, I think, 4 books myself, 3, 4 books, books myself. And I know that for a fact that we'd never had kind of that connecting or like that link chapter where you're able to see the story. So it's really beautiful to see how God is really taking each and every one story in the Artist Haven and like literally just like brushing it with a paintbrush, like just a stroke of a paintbrush. It flows so beautifully. And I happen as an editor to be a very big fan, some people say probably a little overboard, of transitions. And having like that just complete transition and smooth flow. And I really feel like adding these connecting paragraphs where we're able to take the core and the message and the heart of one of the messages in one of the chapters and just relate it to the next chapter, not forcing. It isn't forced, but it's just related to the next chapter. So you can see how each one flows together. Each one connects to one another. And it's such a beautiful way to read the book as a whole, as we are all artists. We are all creatives, instead of saying, okay, chapter 1 is from this person, chapter 2 is from this person. It's like, we're all in this together. And I think it just represents Carmel's just idea and her philosophy and her vision for that togetherness and that value and that unity of her co-authors. And I think that having that connecting and that, that paragraph there really brings it all together seamlessly.
And folks, you can see why I am so blessed to have Stephanie on our team. So Stephanie, just wrapping up as well, I would like to give you the opportunity to share with everybody about your business and what you do as well, and how people can connect with you, and how I absolutely 1000% recommend, if you are writing your story, your blog, your book, anything that you are doing, Stephanie will get behind you 100%. She get value for money, and she just makes your story shine. And that's the thing that just blesses me so much. She has read through most of our authors, and she's helped them to be able to make their chapters just amazing. She is so gifted in this. So please, Stephanie, share with my audience the things about what you're doing, and as we wrap up, maybe give a couple of keys to share with everybody about what you would recommend if they wanted to work with you personally.
Sure, absolutely. So my coaching business is called Butterfly Beginnings Coaching LLC. I know that's a very big mouthful. But basically I work with creatives, specifically writers, faith-based writers who are looking to connect their creativity with their spiritual growth and with their spiritual identity. Outside of the projects that I'm working on and what I offer, which I'll get to in just a second, I did want to share a little bit of an exciting news that I'm working on a book of my own. I'm working on a book proposal. I'm actually going to be meeting with agents and publishers here in just a few months. So very, very exciting. And the book is called Write Transformed. I'm going to use the butterfly as an example to show how when we can use our spiritual identity, we can kind of go past the creative resistance and understand who we are in Christ. And then that will allow us to write with clarity, consistency, and confidence. So I'm so excited to share about that.
Wow, how wonderful that is. Bless you, Stephanie, for all the work you're doing. So keep on going. I just had to say something.
I know, yeah. I said, I don't know if I told you that necessarily.
I knew that you were doing it, and I seen you made a comment on your Instagram, and I was like, ooh, and I know know you've asked me to do a review for your book. And so, Stephanie has been quietly working away like I do with my business in the background. But we have just both been so committed to the Artist Haven, but we're still both building so much of our businesses as well.
Absolutely.
And just really growing, but we complement each other, and that's what I love about it. So yes, tell us more, Stephanie.
Okay, so I say all of that to say that my core message of my coaching, of my writing coaching, really is getting past the resistance and the opposition that we feel so we can write and create with clarity, consistency, and confidence. So that is my whole writing coaching program. We can get clear on who you are writing to, what you're writing about, what you're writing, who you're writing for. We get consistent. So consistency looks like being able to show up and write and know. And I tell you, this is like my number one tip, to know that inspiration will show up when you show up. So like consistency, working on getting rid of all of that, and then confidence. So what it takes to call yourself a writer, and what are the credentials that you need in order to call yourself a writer. Just a little aside and a news flash, that if you have ever picked up a pen and written on a piece of paper, then you are a writer. That's as simple as it is, to take away everything else. So I say that to say that I work one-on-one with individuals and writers who are working on, publishing a book or a blog, other ideas, other writing, and they want to just make writing a consistent practice. I also have a group coaching program that is coming out, officially launching. I did kind of a pre-launch here earlier this year, but I'm officially launching it again in September. And I would absolutely love to have you, if any of these ideas resonate with you, if you are thinking, okay, this sounds good. I think I have a message or a story in my heart that is burdening me, and I want to get it out there, but I don't know where to begin. May I suggest that the coaching group that I have is going to build that foundation, set you up so you know what it looks like to write, and to just write with that clarity, consistency, and confidence, so you can create and you can share your message and really leave your God-given creative imprint on the world. So that is just a little bit about what I have. I also am an editor. I know we've mentioned that before. So the developmental editing, taking a piece that you have, of whether it's a chapter or a blog post, and just asking you to pull at threads and asking you to dig a little bit deeper. Most of my clients are nonfiction, self-help, and memoir genre. And so it's just a lot of that support, that spiritual support, as well as that writing support and that encouragement and editing as well. So those are kind of my big bags of tricks. And if you want to work with me, may I suggest visiting my website, butterfly-beginnings.com. And I'd love to have you follow my social media as well. I promise my social media handle is a little easier. It's at Stephanie Miller Coach. So follow me, send me a DM, let me know, and I will get you set up with more information, more resources. You can join my wait list for my group program on my website now, starting out. And I would love to send you a free guide on how to make progress in your writing using faith-based frameworks. So we're going to take out the lies. We're going to take them out of our heads so they no longer hold power over us, and replace them with the truth so we can walk in our God-given identity.
Well, folks, you can see why I feel so incredibly blessed to have this beautiful woman working beside me. And I want to say too, we've launched our Creative Writers Artist Haven Facebook group. Yeah. We launched it last week, and we have 33 members so far. So if you're wanting to come into our group, we're going to be putting tips and bits in there. Of course, we'll be talking about our book that's coming out in July. You can join our wait list for that as well. I have some exciting things coming up as well. I have a workbook that will go with our book, and I'll be doing some group coaching with that as well. So there's so many amazing things coming up between the two of us. You all can be occupied with Carmel and Stephanie. And so Stephanie will be sharing in our group as well, some tips in there too. And, if you want to join, you can find that through our page on Facebook, Creative Writers Artist Haven, or you can just either tap into Stephanie's or my Carmel Austin or my Carmel's Garden page. Let me tell you, folks, that's 3 groups now that I'm doing. I have my Thriving Woman page, which that's what my TV and podcast show came out of, and I still have my beautiful women in there that I want to implant in as a wholeness coach. I have my Instagram, I have my LinkedIn page, I have my oils page. That's another subject that I'm so passionate about, and I'm going to be writing about that as well and doing more with our interviews. But for now, we're just concentrating on interviewing all of my beautiful authors and talking a little bit about our book and about where we're going with it and their visions and dreams and what they're putting into the book. So thank you everybody for tuning in again to another episode. This is season 2, episode 1 of The Thriving Woman. And I would just say, be your unique self. Be creative, be positive, feel confident in knowing that God knows your dreams in your heart. And as we seek him and his love, and know that he loves you and that you're uniquely created in your mother's womb, and that everybody has potential and blessings. And I'm so excited that I've started this off again and that Stephanie and I are moving forward, not only with our own businesses, but moving together. So God bless you all, and I'll see you in another episode of The Thriving Woman. Bye for now, everyone.